Yeah,
This,
do
yeah.
that.
Let's do that. Yeah. So, okay, on this one, you have two axes, which is top of the head to the
Hip.
hip, yes, not crotch, yeah, hip, and then you have that line there. So you have one line starting from here, and goes straight to the hip. Actually, if I move it there, because you see she's looking to the right.
Yeah.
She's looking on my right, which means I can move a little bit the scalp in there, and then that will come to, that point is this point here, and then you have another line down here, and that will be her hip, dress, and hip, forehead. Okay. Now, what I've noticed is that this area, from her hip or from her folds to the foot, it's a bit longer than, actually if I see it that way, it might not be that long. Let me see with this, with the ruler. So, see, tip of her foot, there, it's almost the same, almost the same distance. So, from her foot here, or toes here, to the head, it's pretty much the same, so the head will be there. Okay, so we have an angle here, an angle there, and I would say that line here from the dress to her knee, or sorry, toes, it's parallel to that line there. Parallel to that line there, and then that it's more of a less of an angle. It's not. So I see this and that parallel, but this it's coming. It's more. It's still coming towards it, but it's not a straight line down. It's a more of a curved line like this. Okay, we got so far. Now what else? Here, the shoulder. If I drop a vertical line, it's pretty much onto her bum. Look. So if I a vertical line here. That will be her shoulder here, and then the shoulder comes or moves inward like this, and then you have another line there which moves that way, which is basically a kneecap, sorry, hip, and then and then they do come together right up here. Then you have the belly here, and that appears to be parallel to that. That also appears to be parallel to that line, this line here, parallel to that, and the folds here, and folds down here, and what do I have here? Here, forehead, as we said, it's pretty much the same line with that. So this forehead is there, and I have the head, hair, neck, hold on, that, yes, her chin is higher than her shoulder there. So chin here, chin, head, and then higher than the shoulder here. There you are. And what else? That shoulder, it's much lower than I have it here. So if I move the shoulder there, that will be a lot more accurate than what it is now. Then you have the cut head, hand, arm actually, arm, yes. And that's the shoulder here, which is forward. Then you have a breast here, right there, here, and there, from the fur belly. Now with few strokes I can do a little bit of shadow here, which is actually a cast shadow of the arm on her body. Then that's a bit harsh, that line, it's a bit less dark. When you have the breast up here, then you have the cast shadow of the head on her shoulder, which is this one here. And if you notice, I haven't gone anywhere near of details of, let's say, eyes or nose or anything. So that line here, that line there, dark, and then you have the cast shadow of the hair, and then you have another dark line here, there, and that will be her hair there. And pretty much a little bit of eyebrow, and just to indicate the nose, and no more than that. I'm just leaving it to, the more details I do, the worse it's sometimes. The less you do, less is more sometimes. And background, look. I'm artificially darkening the background as much as that because I know it's not as black as that. But I think that will help me and us to identify what's going on here. And the movement of basically of the body. Come all around here. Okay. A bit less dark. There you are. I know it looks confusing at the moment, but we'll get there. And a little bit of a look. There's another straight line of the forehead up to the nose. There. And leaving that area, which is the shoulder, appearing a bit of a highlight of the shoulder here, and working on the cast shadow of the body onto the background. Of a softer, darker line down here, there we are. And you see, so very, very few lines mark, and then look. Just marking a few lines here, and then we are pretty much getting the movement, at least the movement of the figure we have in front of us. A little bit of highlight of the chin here. But as I said, the chin is pretty much the same. It's very, very close to the shoulder. It's higher, but it's very, very close, yes. There. If you have any questions, Mark, let me know. If you think that what to do next, or why this or why that.
I'm all right. I'll just listen.
Good. A bit more of the drapery here. And if you see on the whole, that lower part, this is the most important. This is like an anchor that you need an anchor to anchor your eye with some shadows here and darks here. There. Drapery. And then you have this, again, drapery here. And then the cuff, look how beautiful the cuff is revealed here. It just moves out a bit, so it's a bit more rounded, and then you have another drapery coming here. And what I need to re-emerge here is this knee cup. And if you've noticed, the body moves that way, but the kneecaps move, the kneecap and the whole thigh moves that way.
Yeah.
There is a movement there. That's why it's so pretty and so it's mesmerizing. How did they get that movement, which is so delicate, let's say nearly 3,000 years back? Because they were very good observers. And a bit of cast shadow here. Cast shadow there. And here as well. There. And also bring a little bit of background, I would say, down here. That will help. That will help to make to look at the, because the cast is quite bright. The whole thing is brighter than the background, so I'm just deliberately darkening the background a little bit here. Also making the calf a little bit more bulgy, moving out here, and making that a bit more rounded. And the foot itself, now the foot, where the foot stands, here, look this one, look how beautiful that is. But where it goes vertically, drop, that's the way I find it. I don't think there are many correct ways to find it. This is the only way that I think that I've learned, at school. Look, drop it from the knee, from the arm here, drop a vertical line, or very close to the nipple, basically, so drop a vertical line there. That's where the foot will have to be drawn here, and that's the line. And you go to the big toe, and then the platform where she's standing. So you see, first of all, Mark, don't forget to see that, to put the whole figure inside the page, you have to make her quite small actually, so we can fit her. Otherwise, as we had it with earlier on, is that it came up as an issue all the time that the figure was very, very big, quite bigger than the page that it was drawn to. Yes, so then you have the plinth here. I don't have to highlight that too much, just a line here, just to give that as a platform, and that not more than that. Don't worry about that more. Maybe a bit darker here, so it creates a solid ground there. That's it. And the foot, and then I can artificially, I don't see any dark there, but what I'm doing, look, I'm doing a bit of shadow here. So what I'm actually creating, I'm creating the impression that the light comes from that side. That's why this shadow is creating that impression. And also working with the folds a bit more here. And quite darks. Again, artificially darkening that, although I don't see so many or as much shadows, but I think it will help me to identify and where the thigh turns up here to be lighter, and working with the folds there as I'm moving there. There you are. And now being a little bit more careful or detailed with, look, the folds just coming around here and just doing the highlights here with the folds there. And this one, moving the folds, making them a little bit, again, with the putty rubber, identifying and making these beautiful sensitive folds which are merging with the rest of the cast, and less dark lines here, because at the end of the day it's a marble dust and it's quite light. Okay, that might be either David or oh, hello. Yes, come on.
Well, sorry.
That's all right, don't worry. She's
excellent. Satisfying. Wonderful. A couple of weeks in Spain and look at you.
I know, it's very good.
But this, yes.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
hello, Alison. Come over.
Yeah,
not many of you. Oh, hi, Mark. Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm glad I came. Sorry I'm late, but I was just doing a catch up, if you remember.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So
I'm in the middle of doing the
doing a
demo.
picture.
Doing the demo here, yes.
Oh, lovely. Oh,
Well, you're saying
Right.
hello, you're saying
sorry,
I'm here, I'm
Get
here,
out.
so-
Get out of the way.
Don't worry. It's fine.
Oh, rotten day.
So again, doing that, that's a new cast we have here, Alison. I brought it from Greece.
And you?
Yeah, cast. It's basically this one, this lady here.
Oh, we got a real life.
Yeah, real life. So yeah, changes.
Oh, nice. Oh, I like
Yeah, it's
that.
nice changes. Basically, that will guide us or will
Yes.
push us towards, working at some point with life models.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So there you are, just making the twists and turns of here. Now, getting those darks a bit darker here, getting those curls. Well, I don't need to be too detailed for that, but heading there, dark on the head, dark here, and dark here. There. And for the head, for
Yeah.
just to identify the head,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and also a little bit of the neck. The neck is quite long as well, so not to remember that the neck is very beautiful, very delicate, and quite long. And all that, turning it there, bring the broken arm, which is broken by by the antiquity, not by us, hopefully.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the nipple showing up here. And getting that movement of cylinders. Do you remember that when we started together, I was working with you on cylinders and squares, and this is basically, it's like a cylinder because that's what we get on arms and thighs. And a little bit of highlight here, for instance. Look, that beautiful light here. Look, so highlighting that, and then move it and make it a bit wider to create more of a rounded bit. And yes, and belly button, which you don't have to go with a dark dot, but if you wish, you can do it. And also, look, see that? Look, another highlight. Look how beautiful. Look how light that is there. It's a very, very slim line, but it is there. It is and it is not. It's like whatever you decide to do there. Okay, so let's continue with our drawing here. What I could do is to give it a darker half-tone shade onto lower part of a calf, bit sharper here, bit of a turning drapery here, working on the drapery on toes here, which I think they don't have to be too detailed. So a bit of indication of toes, end of a foot here, a bit darker, softer lines here. There we are. Softer, dark lines here. Darker lines here as well. Sorry, folds actually, not lines, but folds. And I think on the cuff here, I think I'm going to be too detailed. Leave it open to interpretations, the cuff here. And the fold which turns, that's a bit light. That's a slightly darker. And leave it charcoal. Take some charcoal dust. Can move it really close here to the drapery. Charcoal dust, I can darken with that under a belly. I can darken with charcoal dust a little bit the whole of the face. It's quite dark. And it's gone too transparent now, it's gone too bright. That means that I have to basically come back and do a bit darker here under her arm, dark cast shadow, a bit more rounded. Putty rubber, with some putty rubber working on the hip, a bit more rounded. With the putty rubber working on her nipple here. There. Nose. Cast shadow. Cast shadow, neck, a bit longer. Shoulder, got dark here just to emphasize the brightness of the shoulder and the movement, forward movement of the shoulder. Also getting slowly smaller shadow here, getting that smaller shadow emphasized a bit more. There's no need for such a huge shadow there. Hair, nose, forehead, nose, folds, fold here, the fold coming down right here, fold, bit more emphasis on the fold in the foot here. There's a foot appears to be coming forward. Another fold here. And there's one. Now that needs sprayed, to be sprayed a little bit more. Okay, just sprayed it. More emphasis on the darks here, underneath her chin, a bit more of the chin. Highlight the chin, highlight the neck here, darker cast shadow. Emphasis, a little bit more emphasis on her thorax, or rib cage, sorry, rib cage. The rib cage is going there. Highlight of the fold here, making it a bit darker, bit darker, bit darker. And getting the darks here on the round here. Yeah, just emphasis on the darks here, okay. And that hopefully will highlight the kneecap coming through. There. And darker here, under the fold, darker than that. Breast, darker here, slightly darker on the other breast here. There we are. Shoulder, roundness of the shoulder, and possibly bring it back and make that dark here, the background a bit darker, to give the impression of her narrow neck. Okay, all right. I need to work with some pencil here because it's so much detail on the, and I cannot manage with my thick fingers and the thick charcoal here. So I'll work that. There. And her beautiful curly hair. As I said, it's not need to, there's no need to emphasize it, to overemphasize the curly hair here. But if needed, we can work a little bit more on the curly hair. And the chin. Emphasize the chin a bit lower than that. And nose. That shadow will emphasize a little bit more the fold here. These two dark folds at the back and the lower part of her foot will obviously again give us a better understanding of what's going on, where the fold is, and also emphasize the whole weight of the body coming through this leg here. Sorry for the noise coming from the builders from the top. Flat here. So, and a little bit there. More emphasis on that fold here. I think. Sorry, I'll stop it now. I'll stop. much now.